You wouldn't think that a fan would be useful when it comes to home automation, but with a good smart fan, like this brand new DREO Polyfan, you can create some really sneaky and really good home automations. Today I'm going to share some of my favorite automation ideas for a smart fan. So thank you to DREO for sponsoring today's video and for sending us this beautiful fan. Many home appliances that you use today can change the air in your home, but they can often be limited in how far they reach. Whether it's a humidifier, a heater, or an air conditioner, you might just find them underpowered for some of your bigger rooms. And I tested this out the other day with a humidifier and have used this in the past with air conditioners and fans from these guys. Now, place your DREO Polyfan in front of those appliances and let it drive the conditioned air out. It'll circulate way faster, and for me, it doubled the rate of rise for things like humidity when I measured it across the room. If you really want to automate this too, Amazon has a great option with their air quality sensor being able to start almost all of these automations. That sensor has 6 different things that it measures and can start automations whether it's based on humidity, air quality, or temperature. Now, if you don't want to buy one of those, then you have to do things a little manually. But we can do things in a smarter way with smart buttons from Flick being able to turn on our 2 different products at the same time. Now, some of you might be sitting there going, hey, I don't have smart versions of humidifiers or air conditioners or any of those other things you said. And you might not be using Amazon in your smart home. That's okay. I'm going to show you how to control dumb versions of those things in today's video. And I'm going to show you other ways to make your home a more comfortable one with a simple fan. Hello automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and my goal on the channel is to save you time and money on your journey to live smarter. And I think that when a great appliance becomes a great smart appliance, there are some extra ways for us to use it and to gain back time and money through efficiencies. Let me introduce the basics of how this smart fan works. That'll help you understand the coming automation ideas. DREO's Polyfan 704S retails at $150 US. It comes in silver or gold, and it connects to your home's Wi-Fi at 2.4 gigahertz. That allows it to connect to the DREO app, and you can connect it to Google and Amazon voice assistants for some pretty intricate control. Now, the fan itself runs off a brushless DC motor and can drive wind out very fast and very far. It does so without adding a lot of noise. I mean, it's running here beside me now. And probably the most impressive feature is that it can move vertically 120 degrees and horizontally 150 degrees. That's why it's not moving and blowing on me right now. You can control all of that from the app, so you can get it oscillating exactly the way you would like. There are 9 speeds and 6 different modes that you can use on Polyfan. Those modes and speeds are supported by a temperature sensor on board, which allows Polyfan to decide on its own which speed to use. Now, both the auto and custom modes use that temperature sensor to adjust the fan speed automatically for you. There's also a light sensor that turns the display on and off based on light in the room, physical controls on the fan's base, an infrared remote, a child lock, scheduling, and other timer-like features. In terms of size, it's a 9-inch fan blade on a unit that stands between 37.5 and 42.5 inches tall. The base is very heavy, it's very sturdy, and it's easy to take the unit apart for maintenance. Now, my only real design complaint with the whole thing is that the power cable plug-in, it's about halfway or a third of the way up the base. Now, some of you might be noticing that I didn't mention Apple HomeKit. You'll also be wondering what options you have with Amazon and Google, and you might even be wondering if you can get it into your favorite smart home hub. Stay tuned, I'll show you some of those things. A lot of people use smart lights to slowly ramp up the brightness as it gets close to time to wake up in the morning. But using the scheduling feature either in DREO, Google, or Amazon's apps will let you ramp up the speed over that same 15 or 20 minute time span that you're using with your lights. Now, I think it's easiest to do this in DREO's app, as you can set all of the features like oscillation, fan speed, and mode, but those alarms with Google and Amazon can help this go even smoother for you. Many of you will be sitting there going, hey, I don't have a smart air conditioner or a smart heater and I don't want to spend money on that. I get it. You probably have one with a little remote though. And I have good news for you. Now, one of the really great features of DREO's fan products is that they all come with an infrared remote like this. And those infrared remotes actually seem to control all of their fan products. Now, we can take advantage of this feature in a smarter way. We need what's called an IR blaster, and you can find this in a number of products, including Aqara's M2 Hub and SwitchBot's Hub 2 or their Hub Mini. There are many other IR blasters available today that will work, but either of these two products get us some really interesting automation options with DREO's fans. Now, as I go into this, it's important to note that DREO says right off the hop, you can use Amazon or Google voice control and their automation system with our fans. So it kind of feels like you can't get this fan working with Apple HomeKit or potentially with other hubs, but that's not the case. Using Aqara's M2 Hub, I was able to program their remote just by selecting the fan remote option here. I added additional buttons, but basically all you do is you take the remote, you aim it at that, and you press the button that you're trying to program in to the M2 Hub. Then what happens is you have the ability for this to blast out the signals that turn on and off your fan and do everything that's on this remote from DREO. So that makes it so you can control it through the app, but we can do much better than that. See, you can go and create scenes. All you have to do is hit that little plus at the top of the page, and you can see I've created one here that is using this IR blaster feature to turn on the Aqara fan, and then actually I'm causing it to start the swinging action. Now that will toggle the swing, okay, the horizontal swing. So that might not be something you want to do in every automation, but I'm just showing that you can do multiple buttons here. You can choose a number of things, anything you program in to execute in this scene. That scene can then be shared into Apple HomeKit for use in automations and for general control. That means as long as the M2 Hub is in the same room as your DREO fan, you gain infrared-based control using Apple HomeKit and Apple's Siri. Now, that little option in Aqara's Hub is very powerful because they can also control a number of regular air conditioners. So if you have a remote with your air conditioner, it might be in here. That means you can program both devices into the Aqara Hub and then control them with a single scene. This means that using Google, Amazon, or Apple, you can start scenes and automations that allow you to turn on both your air conditioner and your new Polyfan. One of the biggest use cases for regular fans is to create white noise for people to sleep and to create air movement in your room. Now, this helps us to feel comfortable and just helps people sleep in general. There's nothing like getting your kid to sleep. Now, of course, you could use this automation for yourself too, but I think I have a better one for you just after this. This specific automation requires a door sensor. I'll recommend a few Zigbee door sensors down in the description below, but all you're going to do is assess when your kid goes to bed. And then within this routine, which I'm creating inside of Amazon's app, I'm setting a time frame for when that door closes to start up the fan and with the settings that you want to have going through the evening. It's important to note that your Amazon speaker has to have a Zigbee hub in it. If you're not sure if yours does, go ahead, ask in the comments below. That's important for a Zigbee door sensor to work with this kind of a routine. In the morning, you can run the reverse automation to turn off the fan, or you can use that scheduled ramp up to wake them up in the morning. Both are going to be really great options, and this will keep your fan going all night, providing that white noise. If you don't want to use a door sensor, flick buttons are a great option with Amazon's voice assistant. You can also just use a voice command to start this routine up, get that fan going. This automation will work if you have HomeKit Pro or Home Assistant in your home. Any other platform I think is gonna struggle, and that's because I'm using something called the Withings Sleep Tracking Mat. That connects to the HealthMate app, and then you can connect that service into HomeKit Pro or Home Assistant. With Home Assistant, it requires a developer account, but with HomeKit, it was just a quick sign in. Now I'm going to show you how I did this with HomeKit Pro because I think it's a little more accessible, a little easier for people to do. But when I get into bed, this automation triggers. It's the Withings Sleep Tracking Mat. It knows that I've gotten into bed. You can see that I've put a condition of a certain time frame around it. So I don't want this to happen all the time. Now I'm going to get a notification through the app, and then you can see this. This automation, its action is to start a routine with Amazon. And that's because you can't actually bring DREO's products directly into HomeKit Pro. This is a fairly elegant way, and it gives you access to all the routines that you've made in Amazon's app. Now, before I go past that statement I just made, I have been able to get DREO products in general into what is called a home bridge, but I personally have not had reliable enough service from that solution to recommend it to you. So remember, this is called the new Fandango routine. And when I go into Amazon, this is what the routine looks like there. It's fairly simplistic. You can see I'm using a voice trigger, and it's just turning on the fan to the mode that I would like. So when HomeKit Pro runs this, it's just turning on the fan to that mode. On average, it takes about 10 seconds for this whole routine to run because the Withings Sleep Tracking Mat takes a little time to decide that you're in bed. Now, to get this option, to do this inside of HomeKit Pro, I had to add the Amazon app through the HomeKit web store. Now, the easiest way to do that, you just saw me go into the More section, and here I am. I can just search for Amazon. So this is the one you want to enable. You want to get that into and installed on your hub. And when you do that, what you do is you add a new device. Then you're going to choose Amazon, and you can see all the different speakers that you can add. So I've added my Echo speaker, I've added my Echo Studio. You can add any of the ones that you see here. Not every one is available today. When you go to add that, you connect it, then that speaker will show up, and that option will show up in your routines. Of course, I have the reverse automation going on to turn off the fan when I get out of bed. And you can see that I've also set a secondary condition here. When I get out of bed between 6 and 9 a.m. in the morning, we're going to run that new Fandango off routine to make sure that the fan is turned off. And I think it's important to note that those smart home hubs I talk about, they really take this to the next level. It's an opportunity for you to do some really fun automations with good conditions that make the situation perfect for you. If you love these automation ideas and you want to get yourself a fan from DREO, the links are down below. Of course, we have more automation ideas for you. You can check those out. They're up on screen right now. Otherwise, thanks for watching today, and of course, live smart.